The real reason why Al Haymon is hated within the boxing industry is about to be explained. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Remstar Says So. Get right into this one. Al Haymon is not liked within the boxing industry by other promoters, advisors, managers, et al. And the real reason why is because Al Haymon treats his fighters well. I'll break it down to you guys. The reason why nobody can seem to pinch fighters off of Al Haymon, like Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Frank Warren, Oscar De La Hoya, is because Al Haymon does what the traditional promoter doesn't do. He pays his fighters properly, and he pays them more than anybody else does. That's why you have fighters like Danny Garcia, who's recently come out and said that he's made more money fighting for Al Haymon, who's a black man, than when he fought for the likes of Oscar De La Hoya and other promoters before sort of signing up to the PBC. The major reason why Al Haymon can do this is because the traditional way of boxing with a promoter for a fight that isn't pay-per-view is that the promoter will offer a fight purse to the fighter, and that's it. So this is for any sort of Saturday night boxing that you might see. What Al Haymon is doing is he is paying his fighters off of all the streams of revenue that is out there. And this is the difference between your Eddie Hearns, your Frank Warrens, your De La Hoyas, your Bob Arums. These guys are paying their fighters, even the guys that are sort of headlining the fight, they're paying them a fight fee. What it sounds like Al Haymon is doing, and the reason why Al Haymon can pay his fighters so well, and they don't necessarily need to fight on pay-per-view, is that Al Haymon is paying the fee to the fighters. It sounds like he's paying them merchandise money. It sounds like he's paying them money from the gate. It sounds like he's paying them any sort of money that they're gonna get from maybe the TV licenses, any sort of streams of income you can imagine. Al Haymon fighters are earning off of it. An example would be your Luis Ortiz. When he fought Deontay Wilder, his fight purse was $500,000, and even Eddie Hearn has recently come out and said, okay, his fight purse was $500,000. He might have taken $1 million, possibly 1.25, possibly even 1.5. We don't know, because that was a big fight, and I know that the numbers were tremendous. So an example would be if the ad revenue for that fight might have brought in an additional, I don't know, $4 or $5 million from Showtime. There's a possibility that Al Haymon would have broken some of that money off to the likes of Ortiz and to the likes of Wilder. So Eddie Hearn already knows that Ortiz was getting paid more than the $500K. And it sounds like every single person that fights on PBC fight cards is getting paid the exact same way. And that's probably the reason why these fighters definitely do not need to fight on pay-per-view as much as maybe some of the other guys do, because they are getting paid well for Saturday night fight cards. When Eddie Hearn was trying to snap up the likes of Gervonta Davis, Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, and he was offering fights, all of these fighters were saying, I'm getting paid more. And Eddie Hearn was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Your purse is listed as this, this, and this. And this is the reason why. Al Haymon is paying his fighters on all revenue. Whereas when you fight for other promoters, you get your purse, and that seems to be it. You're lucky if you get any of the merchandise money. It sounds like Al Haymon's paying his fighters even concession money. So maybe that is part and parcel of the reason why traditional promoters don't like this man, because, you know, he's making them look bad. Promoters have been known to sort of, you know, stuff their own pockets and have their own agenda. Whereas Al Haymon, he's not technically a promoter. I mean, he runs I don't even know what you call the PBC, a promotional banner, an advisory sort of contract. He's known as an advisor. And the fact is, I think he gets away with it because he doesn't do interviews. Now, how can Al Haymon be a so-called boxing promoter when nobody has ever heard the man speak? Like, nobody knows how he sounds. He doesn't do interviews. He lets his boxers do the talking for him. And maybe that's the reason why they get paid more as well, because they have to do a lot of self-promotion. That's why you have guys like Adrian Broner who can talk the talk. That's why he gets so many big fights, because Adrian Broner can definitely sell a fight. Adrian Broner's good at talking, and Adrian Broner doesn't need Eddie Hearn to do anything for him. And as we move forwards, we all know what's recently happened. Al Haymon has signed that deal with Fox Sports, and it looks like Fox Sports has got a lot more money to sort of outlay than Showtime does. So don't be surprised that within the next sort of 2, 3, 4 years, you might see Al Haymon transition all of those fighters from Showtime over to Fox Sports, because it looks like Fox Sports is going to do a lot more. If you look at the Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia fight, Fox Sports did a lot of promoting of that fight, whereas in comparison, Showtime don't really seem to be putting that many marketing dollars into these fights. Al Haymon is a genius in terms of the world of boxing, and the guy, he just keeps himself to himself. He looks after his fighters well. You don't really ever hear anybody ever saying a bad word about Al Haymon. Now, if you go onto YouTube, you can hear loads of former Matchroom fighters criticizing Eddie Hearn, loads of former Frank Warren fighters criticizing Warren, people that have got out of deals with the likes of De La Hoya and Bob Arum. Let's not forget, Bob Arum made the fatal mistake of letting Floyd Mayweather buy himself out of a contract for $750,000. Floyd Mayweather went on to become the greatest pay-per-view star of all time. Manny Pacquiao, I believe, was one time sort of linked to Bob Arum as well. Bob Arum has been known to not being a great promoter and a nice person over the years. Same sort of thing you could say with De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya tried to snap up Errol Spence, and the first thing Errol Spence said to him is that you don't treat black fighters well. De La Hoya couldn't even respond, because it's true. Once upon a time, Oscar De La Hoya had Deontay Wilder fighting for Golden Boy, and I just don't think that De La Hoya ever believed in Deontay Wilder. He had Deontay Wilder as an undercard, prop-up filler guy, and he never really pushed him and really didn't try to get him anywhere. Deontay Wilder's career only really picked off when he signed with Al Haymon in the PBC, and his career has really gone from strength to strength. I do think that we need more people like Al Haymon who are going to sort of pay fighters what they need to. And, if we had more promoters in the UK like that, we wouldn't be losing all of our best fighters to overseas contracts in America, because there'd be enough money to go around. I think that realistically, we're in a position now where we're losing all of our best UK fighters to America. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Amir Khan, or everybody with a name. Dillian White was shopping in America recently. Everybody with a name is shopping around trying to get a DAZN deal, an ESPN deal, maybe looking at what Al Haymon can offer them, because the UK fighters, they're just not competing. But, it's clear as day why. The UK market is always going to be smaller. The entirety of Great Britain could probably fit into California 5 times. America is a much bigger country, and therefore they're going to generate a lot more money. But yeah, I think that, Al Haymon, I think him treating his fighters well is a good thing. I think him allowing them to sort of self-promote so they can claim more money is a good thing as well. I think if you're one of those boring guys and somebody who doesn't speak much, then you probably need a promoter. But, if you're a sort of lively person, then yeah, sticking with Al Haymon is definitely the way forwards, because he's going to pay you what you deserve to get paid. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Al Haymon is good for boxing? Do you think his method of paying people in all the avenues is definitely what should happen? Do you think the likes of Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren should follow suit? Leave me a comment, hit like, hit subscribe. That's the end of the show, because Remstar says so.